Talk you into it. Sorry. We get the birds. We also have some exhibits to pass out. If I can do so. So, my name is Brent Stringfellow. I'm Associate Vice President of Facilities and University Architect at Lehigh University. And just to give a brief overview of what we are proposing with the temporary closure. Bit of first of all, description. The closure is between Vine and Webster Streets, which you'll see on the extent of the closure, you'll see on the first 3 pages of your exhibits. In terms of the current timing, why are we doing this now? Mr. Gallagher pointed this out. I will reiterate, we identified 3 kind of major issues overlapping one another. One is the safety of pedestrians. The traffic is substantial. On a given day, there's over a given day during the school year, we have 1,700 people who cross Packer Avenue, and at peaks around midday at about 800 people an hour. Secondly, the changing face of the Lehigh campus and an increasing shift of the center of gravity from the UC Lawn area, the traditional heart of Lehigh, towards South Side. So a lot of this is partly the development that's happening at Lehigh, but also our investment in the city. So projects such as leasing space in the Flatiron building, the 3rd new building, as well as investments that we've made in the Southside ambassadors, code enforcement officers, and support of the city's renewal of New Street, indicates Lehigh's commitment to extending our partnership with Southside and really opening up a point of connection. And we see this as providing that in the east-west direction. Finally, improving that pedestrian experience not only for the Lehigh community, but for the public at large. In terms of the closure, what we are looking at doing, this emerged from very early discussions where we broached the topic with the city. It was initiated with a traffic study that was completed by Pannoni Associates, who joined me tonight. This was looking at what the impact would be if Packer Avenue was to be closed between Webster and Vine. That study concluded at the end of 2018, early 2019, that the impact would be minimal. So what this test closure is proposing is proof of concept. So we have some evidence that based on the study, that we don't anticipate major impact. The idea of the closure is that this will prove it in terms of getting feedback and data live, real time, seeing is it impacting the neighborhoods, is it negatively impacting the various groups. So in terms of the details, a couple of things. We would be closing the avenue to vehicular traffic, normal vehicular traffic. It would remain open to pedestrian traffic, but obviously Lehigh and public would be invited, and it would still be fully accessible to the public. And we would be limiting access to emergency vehicles, service vehicles, and delivery, as well as vehicles to provide accessible routes for some of the folks with disabilities on campus. The layout will use what we call a chicane, which you can see on this chart, uses, instead of closing it off with a gate, this is similar to what's used at Music Fest to allow vehicles to move through, but just not in a straight direction. They're forced to slow. And the renderings you see behind me, which are also in the exhibit package, give an idea of what the view would be from Webster Street and from Vine Street looking in. A couple of things that we'll be doing during the closure. One, we will be, prior to the closure and during the closure, of significant importance is coordinating with the middle school, with Brockwell Middle School, to ensure the safety of students. So we have a meeting next week with Dr. Roy and Principal Amato, and we will be remaining in touch and obviously working to ensure that any measures are in place to ensure safety of school children during the closure. And some of those concerns were raised at the public meeting. We will also, the Bethlehem Parking Authority will be doing parking counts to understand the impact on parking during the closure. And Pannoni Associates will be conducting a traffic study during the closure as well to look at the impact. The original study has been expanded based on input during the public meeting in order to gather the data that I think everybody feels is needed to be sufficient. And then finally, two things. One, the closure will be able to be open in the event of an emergency. It will be designed that we could open it up to public traffic. So if 3rd Street and 4th Street were to be shut down for any sort of reason, we would have the capability of opening up the space to allow traffic. Secondly, we have agreed, and we are fundamentally, committed to this. If the closure starts, right now it's planned to be for 45 days, starting from at March 9th till the end of April. If for any reason there are circumstances that show that the closure can no longer continue, we will reopen Packer Avenue. And that is part of the agreement we would have with the city. So with that, am I over time or? Yes. Apologize. Thank you for the extra time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?